Try and do something to this potent offense for Florida.
Half the free passes that Ole Miss has given Florida have scored this weekend. And Kendra Falby leads things off for the Gators, takes upstairs. We're off and running for our series finale in Oxford. Kendra Falby, all of those numbers just off the charts.
She's really been amazing this weekend. Falby having back-to-back multi-hit games, 6 for 7 on the weekend. It's just, and she's improved her on-base streak as well.
How hard is it in an SEC weekend to just be retired once, like Falby has gone so far?
Well, she is just absolutely amazing. She's just the tone setter, and she can do everything from the left side of the plate. She's such a catalyst, and here puts the ball in play.
She almost beat out that throw, but Ryan Starr guns her down for out number 1. Just the second time this entire weekend Falby is retired. That brings up Jocelyn Erickson, who finally got the bat going yesterday. 2 for 4 with a 2-run home run in the second inning. Also her second multi-hit game in SEC play this season, 10th total. But was 0 for 2 on Friday with 2 walks. And Brianna Lopez, she came out of the bullpen against Florida on Friday. Allowed 1 earned run in 4 2/3 innings. Florida hit off her, Missy, but 7 hits, it's quite a bit in 4 innings. But it's the 1 earned run that stands out to me the most there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she came in and did a great job and working both sides of the plate, using her changeup effectively, and it is a lot of hits. But she gave them a chance to win. And if you look at Ole Miss's offensive stats from Friday, they actually didn't do very well. I mean, they put a lot of the hits on the board, but not when they needed them.
Was it 14 runs were scored in the first 4 innings or something on Friday?
It was insane.
It was ridiculous. Erickson fouls that off the bottom of her bat. But Lopez has been good for Ole Miss. It's her 15th appearance and 6th start. She had 6 starts last season for Ole Miss in her first year as a Rebel. Tossed 5 innings against Missouri. Allowed 2 runs, but they weren't earned. Struck out 3, walked 2. 2-2. Lopez began her career at Hawaii and decided to transfer out, come to the SEC, challenge herself. Down the first base line, fair ball for Erickson. She's thinking 2 as this gets to the corner, and she halts there with a 1-out double.
Just an off-speed pitch that she gets way out in front of, but is able to take that ball right down the line for a stand-up double and the first base hit for the Gators today.
The NFCA Division I Player of the Year from last year now has 10 doubles this season and gives way to Taylor Shoemaker in the 3 spot today for the Gators. Has 61 RBIs as a freshman. That's the most by a newcomer in her first season at Florida in program history. Had 3 RBIs yesterday against Ole Miss. RBI single in the 5th and a 2 RBI double in the 7th.
Coming hard on clear.
And Shoemaker pops up right side. Might be playable for Duke. It is, but she drops it. And the freshman in her first start as a Rebel gets that double down the line to her and then drops the foul ball.
Yeah, and that's a big mistake by Addison Duke. Unfortunately, you don't want to give a hitter like Shoemaker another opportunity.
Shoemaker is 2 for 10 this weekend. Ole Miss fans wanted that one on the outer edge. She's chasing some other freshman records as well. 14 homers is tied for 3rd most. 13 doubles is tied for 4th most. There's strike 3 for Lopez. 2 away for Florida in the first.
And that's a big out. All those stats you just rambled off, that's a big out for Ole Miss. Just gets the outside part of the plate. Sets down Shoemaker looking.
Because Lopez was in her first season at Ole Miss last year, first year in the SEC, she felt like she had to prove herself a lot last year. As Corby Otis steps in, looks at the first pitch strike. Lopez's first start in SEC play last year was about midway through the conference schedule, and she didn't have it easy. Her opponent, the mighty Georgia Bulldogs, who we all know they were loaded last year with a ton of experience, and they got to Lopez. That was her first introduction to the SEC, and you'd imagine a start like today going up against a really good Florida team, those nerves aren't there this time around.
Well, probably not as much. I mean, she really made an impact last year for Ole Miss in the circle.
On a line to right, one hopped into the glove of Duke, and Erickson halts at third base. Corby Otis on with the 2-out single. That's a good play out there in right field from Addison Duke, the freshman.
It absolutely is. That was a missile by Corby Otis, and she did a great job of getting the ball in.
She played on that short hop, too. That could be tricky sometimes.
Absolutely.
If you play that wrong, it can get behind you. Mia Williams takes outside. Had the multi-homer game on Friday, first of her career. She's 5 for 8 this entire weekend with an OPS that's in another universe. Average is .391. Has a hit in her last 5 games. In fact, in her sophomore year, she only has 7 games this year where she hasn't reached base. Yeah, Rothrock, 4 innings of work on Friday, allowed 9 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned. And Malvin bounces it off the netting foul. Malvin's having her best series in SEC play. Was 3 for 3 in game 1, 2 for 4 yesterday. Malvin leading it off. Jaden Pones had a great weekend too with 5 hits. Now Leah today, Lexi Brady down to the 5 hole for the Rebels. Some shifting in the lineup from Friday to today. What do you think Jamie Traxel's thinking with moving Brady down and Binford up to 3?
Well, they had moved Brady up just for this weekend so far that we had seen. Had been real comfortable in the 5 spot, and I think that's just a good move to put her back where she's comfortable. She's struggled over the last 2 games.
Malvin swings and misses for strike 3. Keegan Rothrock's 58th strikeout this season. The NFCA All-American third-teamer from a year ago and NFCA D1 Freshman of the Year in the top 10 of those rankings at least, as Florida's defense looks pretty much the same all weekend with Corby Otis, Jocelyn Erickson, Taylor Shoemaker in the outfield. Gabby Comia back at short today. Kenley Cahalan at third, Mia Williams at second, Reagan Walsh at first, and Erickson back behind the plate. So this is Rothrock's 3rd start since returning from injury as she faces Jaden Pone, who's hitting over .400 for Ole Miss coming into today. Rothrock's the reigning SEC Freshman of the Year. Not a lot of freshmen, Missy, have an ERA of .259 after their freshman season, can say they threw over 260 innings, and can say they struck out over 200 batters in year 1 as a college pitcher.
Oh, absolutely not. She had a tremendous freshman season and was awarded, because of that, the Freshman of the Year in the SEC.
Struck out 201 batters last year. She walks Jaden Pone. In fact, that was the 2nd most strikeouts by a freshman in Florida history. So got Taylor Malvin to begin this bottom half of the first, and then gives Jane Pone a free pass to first base. Aaliyah Binford in her first year at Ole Miss. Eyes up, strike one. Baylor transfer in her 6th season at playing softball. First year at Ole Miss. She's battled knee injuries and surgeries all throughout her career. Transferred to Ole Miss at the beginning of this semester, so spent the fall at Baylor and then entered the transfer portal after the fall season. Ouch. Now 2 on for Ole Miss without a hit.
And most people, that would be a struggle, but for Aaliyah Binford, she's just been able to come in and feel like home for her. She really seems to have a good rapport with the girls. You always see a smile on her face. And
so if you're Ole Miss here, Missy, in games 1 and 2 combined, Ole Miss has scored 5 runs in the first inning in this series. Percy Yamas takes the hack, the freshman hitting .370 this year. That's another thing Tim Moulton talked about earlier with us. He said that his Gators, they've fallen behind early and have battled back each time this weekend. That's something too. The Gators were 4-7 overall coming into the weekend when their opponents scored first. Not the case anymore.
no, not this weekend. Definitely not. They've made the adjustment. And in all honesty, I think all 5 of those runs that Ole Miss has scored in the first innings in the past 2 games have been unearned.
Yep. So Erickson goes to have a chat with Rothrock. Yeah, yesterday Ole Miss scored 3 runs in the first inning. I should say that was Friday night, excuse me. And Rothrock hit a batter, walked a batter. Lexi Brady then reached on an error on Cahalan, the third baseman. And then a couple of singles, scored the first 3 runs for Ole Miss on Friday. And then yesterday Ole Miss got 2 singles off Ava Brown, and an error by Florida brought in 2 runs. So in this series, the first inning has been Ole Miss's inning. We'll see if they can continue the trend here. Full count to Yamas. It's a gorgeous Sunday in Oxford. Good crowd on hand too in Ole Miss's new stadium. Yamas pops it up, left side, dipping fast. Caught by Otis for out number 2.
For a minute, I wasn't sure who was going to catch that ball. Cahalan, Camilla, and Otis merged on that ball, and then finally Otis calls her off.
You never know when that triangle starts to form what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's like no man's land.
Lexi Brady steps up. Wanted that one. She is 0 for 7 this weekend. However, she's reached on an error twice. That has once again resulted in runs for Ole Miss. Having a career year, 357 average. 35 hits coming into today, 4 away from her career high, which she set last year, 39. Off the end of the bat, Walsh charges and tags out Brady, who wanted to slide at 3 games. They lost the first game and bounced back the last 2 in that series. Reagan Walsh leads things off. Redondo Beach, California native. OPS over 1,000, much like a lot of her other teammates, hitting .299. Florida stranded 2 on the corners last inning. And for the first time all weekend, no runs scored after the first inning, Missy.
I know.
How about that?
That is definitely not the tradition of the weekend.
Walsh A little loop to Yamas. Out number 1. That brings up Kenley Cahalan, who yesterday hit a 3-run homer. 4 RBIs, 3 for 4 yesterday against Ole Miss. She is the 5th Gator in this lineup to reach double-figure home runs. She hits this in the air, left side, and Jaden Pone tracks it down for Ole Miss, and 2 quick outs for the Gators offensively in the second.
That was a fantastic job by Jaden Pone. Look how far she has to run to make this catch. Just past the foul line.
You wouldn't know that Jaden Pone transferred to Ole Miss as an infielder.
Really?
She did. Had to learn outfield just to break her way into the lineup and create some time for herself. Gotten a lot more confident out in left field as Ava Brown steps in. She was remarkable yesterday inside the circle for Florida. Pitched her 4th complete game and 2nd in SEC play.
And got a hit and I believe a couple RBIs to help her cause.
You beat me to it, Missy. Had an RBI double in the 7th. She was 1 for 4 at the plate this entire weekend. Nothing like a pitcher that can help her own cause at the plate. Not all pitchers can say that, though, that they are a two-way player. As Brianna Lopez with 2 quick outs here in the second, looking for an easy inning in inning number 2. And it's flown out to right center. Addison Duke, the freshman, makes the catch. It's actually kind of strange, too, that they have a better record on the road than they do at home in conference play, but sometimes that's just the name of the game and the way that the schedule shapes out. Mackenzie Pickens leads things off for Ole Miss. And the freshman 0 for 5 this weekend against the Gators with 2 walks on an 0 for 7 skid in her last 3 games. Rothrock gave 2 Ole Miss hitters free passes back in the first, but got out of the inning. And Pickens ropes this into right center, and it gets down. Leadoff single for the Rebels to begin the second inning.
Great job by Pickens. She's been kind of quiet this weekend, but comes up with a leadoff single here to right center field.
Yeah, Pickens now 1 for 8 in her last 4 games. Having a stellar start to her Ole Miss career. And here's her freshman teammate, Addison Duke, from Arizona. She's 5 for 11 at the plate. It's a reoccurring thing, too, for Ole Miss and their freshmen. This is a confident bunch. We've talked to the coaching staff and some of the veterans, too, for Ole Miss. Missy, it's a confident bunch, like I've said. Pop up left side, and Comia makes the catch. That's not always the case. When you get a bunch of freshmen in, sometimes they can be timid, they can lack confidence a little bit, but not Ole Miss's freshmen this year.
Well, they've come in and had so much early success. I mean, you look at Miley Wachenio and what she's done out in the circle, and then Mackenzie Pickens starting at second base and hitting as well as she does, and then Percy Yamas at first base holding down the fort over there, and just the presence that she has, and then hitting number 4 in the lineup.
Then you have a 4-year returner like Angelina De Leon, one of 2 4-year returners for Ole Miss. Bounces it right side and through, right past Williams. Pickens stays at second base. 2 hits this inning for Ole Miss.
Well, and this is a great job by Angelina De Leon. She goes with this pitch on the outside part of the plate and drives it into the 3-4 hole.
Angelina De Leon's 19th hit this year, and her second on the weekend. De Leon's now 5 for 31 against the conference this season. Now Erickson has a conversation with everybody.
We're going to see a pinch hitter here for Ryan Starr.
Let's see who we got. No one's come out of Ole Miss's dugout yet.
Jamie McKay.
Jamie McKay hitting for Ryan Starr. Jamie McKay started in right field yesterday. She was 1 for 3 against Florida. The only game that she's played this weekend. I should say the only game that she's batted. And a big spot for McKay, who has 9 RBIs this season. One and two.
Now Rothrock's trying to work the inside part of the plate on McKay. Ball just a little bit too inside.
And for Rothrock, slowly but surely trying to come back from injury. Missed the Texas A&M and the Texas series. Made her return against Auburn. She pitched a dandy in her first game back against the Tigers. 4 2/3. She allowed no runs, struck out 7. Then in the midweek against Florida State, allowed 3 earned runs in 5 hits, 6 innings. Then against Arkansas in game 2, 4 innings of work, allowed 5 earned runs. 8 hits, hit 2 batters. Called strike 3, and the runners are on the move. And the throw to third base hit Pickens. But she's safe. Pickens to third, De Leon to second. As McKay strikes out looking. So 2 away for Ole Miss in the second.
Yeah, pitch on the inside part of the plate. And left-handed catcher Jocelyn Erickson makes the throw over and hits Pickens in the side. Ouch.
Brings up Taylor Malvin, struck out swinging in the first. She has gone to the left side, what feels like every at bat.
Yeah.
Is it just the way that she is as a slapper, or you think she's intentionally trying that? What do you think it is?
I think a lot of it is they're pitching her on the outside part of the plate.
Like that.
Yep.
A bouncer to Cahalan and takes care of Malvin. Ole Miss strands 2 more. Today, Arkansas won 10-2, and South Carolina bounced back 5-4 yesterday. Missouri and Mississippi State are in a rubber match too.
Yep.
Auburn and Georgia battling for the series today. This series, however, Florida's going for the sweep.
A lot of good games to watch on TV today.
A lot of them. I mean, this, again, when you hit April, SEC softball, SEC baseball are going on. It is an awesome time of year. Ball 4. Oh, no, strike 2. Beg your pardon. Kendra Falby and I thought that she was going to be given first base. Hitting a Florida high 462 in SEC play this year. That is baffling. A little loop to left center. Lands for a base hit. She's thinking 2, and she's going to take it. That gets her dugout hyped. That puts some pressure on Jaden Pone, the left fielder, too, I think.
Oh, absolutely. You can tell after Falby hits this ball as she's rounding first, she's looking to see if she can take the extra base. And the minute Jaden Pone bobbles that ball, she's in safely at second.
Jocelyn Erickson, who doubled back in the first inning, steps up. And if her bat starts to come around, I said it coming into today, hitting .222 against the SEC this season. And this is a player that swung .382 last year. Kind of a slower start to SEC play.
Well, .339 isn't bad.
It's still really good, don't get me wrong.
And that missile that she hit yesterday out to left field, I think burned a hole in that tree.
I haven't seen a lower home run hit ever. But looked like a line drive somehow got over the wall. And the wind's blowing out today too, and rather ferociously. Look at the gusts today.
Yeah, anything that gets up in left field is most likely going to go out.
You didn't park out that way, did you? Your car? Is it safe?
No, it's safe.
Okay.
You?
For now.
I don't know. Some of these home runs that have been hit this weekend, I don't think you can park within 100 feet of the stadium.
I agree. Florida's hit 5 of them this weekend. And the second most homers for the Gators through the first 2 SEC games this year. Or I should say, first 2 conference games on a Friday, Saturday. A team that has multi-home runs in their last 5 games. Over 40% of their runs scored this year, they can thank the home run ball. That's going to go up after this weekend. I'm going to tell you that right now. Fly ball left side again. Jaden Pone makes the squeeze. And Falby danced around at second base, but went back, and there's out number 2. I know Falby challenged Jaden Pone once. What makes you think she wouldn't do it again?
Oh, absolutely. It's a little closer, though.
Bit closer from left field to third base
closer.
than left field to second. Another RBI opportunity for Taylor Shoemaker. 61 of them this year, missing through 45 games as a freshman. Most by a freshman in program history. And she too under one left side. It's about how you finish, and Ole Miss wants to finish strong today.
Absolutely. You know, they just have to kind of flush what's happened the last 2 days and come out with a fresh new perspective today and know that they have just as much talent to take a game from Florida as anybody else. And I think the further along this game goes, the more confident Ole Miss is going to be.
Yeah, and I was thinking about game 1 last night, running through numbers. Ole Miss was really just one situational hit away from taking game 1 on Friday night. They lost 8-7.
Right.
Florida just got that one hit. Isn't it crazy how sometimes this game just comes down to one hit?
Yeah, I mean,
one particular situation.
Right. And, you know, honestly, you know, it was just an unfortunate situation, and Ole Miss came up with several opportunities to be able to take the game, and they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, Jamie Traxel told us Ole Miss had a couple near home runs right at the warning track. I mean, literally up against the wall. Shoemaker robbed a home run Friday night, too, for Florida. And Jamie Traxel said even at South Carolina that hurt them a little bit, too, because Laird Boutte almost tied the game in the 7th inning against South Carolina in the finale last weekend.
You just have to take advantage of opportunities whenever you're given them.
Cahalan throws out Jaden Pone. And Pone's now 0 for 1 today with a walk.
And that's the difference between Ole Miss and Florida this weekend.
And Tim Walton told us, 20th year head coach for Florida, at this time of the year, a lot of this is about in-game adjustments, who can make the best adjustments early. He would know. He's been to the Women's College World Series 5 of the last 7 years. As Aaliyah Binford, who was hit by a pitch her last time up, steps in. Well behind it, 72 miles an hour. Rothrock hasn't had a spotless inning yet. This is her second appearance this weekend. And now she's ahead 1-2 on Binford.
I got it.
You're quick. That former softball player communication just
That's
came
right.
to
That's right.
hit you right
Well,
away.
it would have come right here to me, so. I mean, got to take charge.
I'm glad the net's there for the
For
equipment's
sure.
sake.
Yes, for our sake.
Binford down the right field line on a play. Binford, a two-time NFCA All-Region honoree when she was at Baylor. Was named the best two-way player in the nation by D1 Softball in the preseason this year. Whoa, on a line, right off the mid of Cahalan. That was a hot shot to the hot corner.
Absolutely. That was a missile off the bat of Binford. You definitely have to be on your toes with this hit. Right off the glove.
I mean, you don't have time to think when it hits you that fast.
No, and Cahalan let her hand flip over instead of keeping it solid to the side to be able to make that play. But a hit for Ole Miss.
Shine out to left, and Otis fights the sun, makes the catch. And Percy Yamas is retired with back-to-back outs out to left field. She's 0 for 2. Brings up Lexi Brady. A 4-year returner for Ole Miss, Lexi Brady. Her commitment to Jamie Traxel goes long before her Ole Miss days. She was recruited by Coach Traxel back when Jamie was still at Minnesota. In a year last year, too, where Ole Miss lost a lot of players to the transfer portal. Lexi Brady said transferring didn't even cross her mind. 1-2. And with all the newcomers this year, it's been easy too for them to adjust, and Lexi Brady's even said that herself. Swings and misses for strike 3 and out number 3. The first 2 games of this weekend hitting .400 as a team. Pop up in the infield, and it's Pickens. Retires Corby Otis to begin the 4th inning. Florida so far with 3 hits. They've stranded 3 base runners. Ole Miss has 3 hits. They've stranded 5 base runners. As Mia Williams steps up 0 for 1 today. Shows bunt. It's Lopez. Out number 2. What's the strategy behind the bunt there from Williams?
Well, I think what she was trying to do is get it up the line, either third base or first base. The Ole Miss corners playing a little bit deeper, just trying to do something to get some offense going for Florida today.
Yeah, they've scored 22 runs in the last 2 games, the most runs scored for them through the first 2 SEC games this season in a series.
Well, and they've had 26 hits in the last 2 games. Today, 3. So Lopez doing a really good job of keeping Florida off balance.
Long drive, tug just foul. Off the roof of the indoor facility.
Wow.
Reagan Walsh nearly put Florida on the board. How far is that out there?
Well, the fence is 200. Maybe another.
And her second time seeing Keegan Rothrock inside the circle for Florida. Yeah, just 1 2-out RBI for Ole Miss this weekend, and you saw on your screen a moment ago, 1 for 14 with 2 outs in the series. I should say coming into today. That's obviously changed through the first 3 innings.
In all the hitters that we've seen for Florida this weekend, they only have 8 strikeouts, so they're putting the ball in play.
A lot of that, too, has to be said with Florida's pitching as well. Ava Brown was spectacular yesterday. Ball 4 to Pickens. She's reached for a second time today. Second walk for Rothrock. She's also hit a batter. And this is that part of the lineup, too, where Ole Miss may or may not be as consistent as other teams. That 7, 8, 9 spot, especially with no Lair Boutte today for Ole Miss. Addison Duke takes strike 1.
Addison Duke showing bunt, trying to move up Pickens into scoring position.
Came up empty that time.
And quickly down 0-2 in the count.
She was 2 for 2 in 2 games against Arkansas earlier this year. She's had her moments. Axon misses for strike 3.
Yeah, that's a big out for Florida.
Keegan Rothrock's 3rd today. Now she's up to 60 strikeouts this season.
Ole Miss trying to do anything to put a runner in scoring position.
De Leon pops up. First pitch swinging. And it's Walsh who makes the catch. After a leadoff walk, 2 quick outs for Keegan Rothrock in Florida. So Ryan Starr re-enters for Ole Miss. Her first at bat, she was pinch hit for by Jamie McKay. Ryan Starr, it's defense where she really shines. She's 2 for 20 at the plate this year. That hit her that hit her elbow guard. You never know with those. Hits the bottom of the bat, especially with that type of velocity after it hit her.
Well, Rothrock trying to work the inside part of the plate on Ryan Starr and just gets a little bit too close, and we could hear it hit off of that elbow guard all the way up here. Now Ole Miss has that runner in scoring position.
Chance for Taylor Malvin, who's been stellar through the first 2 games of the series. 0 for 2 today. Had 5 hits Friday and Saturday. All of them to the left side, so you know Camilla, the shortstop, and Cahalan, the third baseman, are looking for it. Gets by Erickson. Pickens and Starr move up.
That's a big mistake for Erickson. Now instead of having 1 runner in scoring position, you have 2.
And a circle visit coming for Florida. Stephanie Van Brackle-Protho coming out in her first season at Florida. So Rothrock's numbers so far, a couple of walks, 2 hit by pitches, 2. Most important thing though, Missy, that 0 next to the ER on your screen.
That's right, but this is where she got in trouble on Friday in the first inning against Ole Miss. She hit a batter, walked a batter, and then had the error behind her. Here it's just reversed, a walk and then a hit batter.
And she walks Malvin. Ole Miss has bases loaded in the 4th inning without a hit. And now Jaden Pone steps up, who's hitting .408 coming into today. And one of Ole Miss's hottest hitters coming into the weekend. What's your approach here if you're Pone?
Put the ball in play and put pressure on the Florida defense. We've seen them make mistakes this weekend.
On the ground, Cahalan stabs it, flips to third. Not in time. Ole Miss is on the board.
That was a great play by Cahalan, but just couldn't get the handle on it. And over to Camilla on time at third base. Doesn't hurt to have that speed of Ryan Starr. Base is still loaded for Ole Miss.
Bases stay loaded on the RBI single from Pone. And Aaliyah Binford gets a visit from assistant coach Bobby Buchanan.
And those free passes come back to bite Rothrock again.
And Ole Miss is doing this too with 2 outs, Missy. Something that they haven't done in the first 2 games of this series.
Well, that's exactly right. And we just went over it, a few minutes ago. Ole Miss has to step up when they have runners in scoring position, and Jaden Pone did just that.
Ole Miss just 1 hit with 2 outs coming into this series finale all weekend. And this crowd into it in Oxford with Aaliyah Binford at the plate. Singled her last at bat back in the 3rd. Fouls it behind home plate. Quickly, 0-2's the count. Binford, long drive, left field, it's got a chance.
Well, we talked about it. Ole Miss struggling with 2 outs. Here, you can't come up any bigger than this. Aaliyah Binford with a grand slam, putting Ole Miss up 5-0 in the bottom of the 4th. All with 2 outs.
Ole Miss had just 1 2-out RBI the entire weekend. And Llamas is ahead 2-1. Crooked number for the Rebels in the 4th inning after the grand slam by Binford. And that hits Llamas. Four free passes from Keegan Rothrock in this 4th inning. And now Lexi Brady steps up. If you're Ole Miss, you want to see your power hitter do something here to really put an exclamation point. I'd say put an extra exclamation point on this inning.
Oh, absolutely. But I don't think that you can count out Florida. They still have 9 outs left. And, so Ole Miss needs to keep their foot on the gas pedal here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Brady held up her swing. What's going on with Rothrock here?
Oh, she's struggling on the inside part of the plate against these hitters. Oh, the pitch that she threw to Aaliyah Binford was supposed to be outside, ended up coming over the heart of the plate.
Nice job by Cahalan on the shortstop, or the short hop, to finally get Florida. So far has not allowed a run to Florida. But an offense that they look at a 5-run deficit, and that may just wake them up a little bit, you think, Missy?
I think, one, if you're Brianna Lopez, you can't relax because of the offensive production that you've seen out of Florida this weekend. If you're Florida, you have to show the fight right now and try and come back
Pickens makes the play and retires Kenley Cahalan, who's 0 for 2 today.
But if you're Florida, you have to come back. You have to show your fight. You still have an opportunity. This is not out of reach for what we've seen Florida be able to do this weekend.
This is a team who yesterday, in the top half of the 7th inning, scored 8 runs. And the game wasn't out of reach for Ole Miss at that point in the game, Missy, but after those 8 runs, it was pretty much trying to climb out Mount Everest and then climb it again if the mountain were stacked on top of itself. I got through it. Popped up. Yamas and Ole Miss. It drops. Is that communication, Missy?
Yes,
or
absolutely. Absolutely. There's no reason why Percy Yamas should have to come that far over behind the pitcher's circle to make that catch.
So whose ball is it here?
That's got to be a communication between short and second, so Ryan Starr or Mackenzie Pickens. And actually, Pickens should have taken charge there and caught that ball.
Just comes with sometimes freshman woes at times. As Ava Brown is on first base, no longer though, actually I should say. Kylie Shaw coming in to pinch run for Brown. So they gave Ava Brown the single. Now up to 14 hits this season, and Kylie Shaw will do the running for Brown. As Riley Holtorf pinch hits for Gabby Comia in this 5th inning. Washington transfer in her first season with Florida. Her and her high school sweetheart actually tied the knot last summer. Both moved to Gainesville when she wanted to play her final season of softball at Florida. Had a stellar career at Washington. 3-time NFCA All-Pacific Region honoree at UW. Also 2-time first-team All-Pac-12 back when...
That existed.
Sorry, Missy. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. It'll be a sore subject for a while. Well, we saw Holtor start at shortstop on Friday. She was actually 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored.
She's a heck of a ball player. 2 for 6 in the series. Under this, though, left side, Jane Pone's been busy with a lot of these, especially in foul grounds. It's been, what is it with the Gators? Because we've seen maybe 3 or 4 plays out there for Pone in foul grounds where she's just had to track it down in foul territory and make the catch.
Well, they're just getting out in front of Brianna Lopez's offerings and pulling them. And getting too much underneath the ball, so that's why you're seeing all these fly balls, high fly balls from the Gators.
Kendra Falby takes strike 1. Double back in the 3rd. And with 2 outs, this is where Florida's been dangerous this weekend. 11 of their 22 runs scored this weekend have been with 2 outs. Down the first base line, what a snag for Yamas. That would have been an extra base hit and a run in. A web gem by the freshman.
What an amazing play by Percy Yamas, just reaching out. And you're right, Jake. That held up from Florida scoring.
So a new pitcher in for Florida. It's number 13, Olivia Miller. 4-0 in decisions this season, sub-2 ERA, 24 2/3 innings. And coming in for Keegan Rothrock, who had a lot of free passes last inning. Missy Ole Miss scored 5 runs off 2 hits. And now she looks to quiet this Ole Miss offense
Yeah, you're going to get a different look from Olivia Miller, a left-handed pitcher. She's going to throw in the mid-60s. She likes to work down in the zone. She's got a curve and a change.
In her second season with the Gators, her first appearance this weekend. Pitched against Stetson on Wednesday. Got her 4th win of the year. Most wins, 2 for her in a season. She faces Mackenzie Pickens. It was a 1-1 count. Got that 5-run inning started in the bottom half of the 4th with a leadoff walk. And she sends this to almost to the Florida bullpen.
So, got to give credit where credit's due today. It was a great play by Holtorf.
It's about learning from your mistakes.
That's right.
Learning
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. We have a pinch hitter now for Addison Duke.
Ashton Lansdale coming into pinch hit for Addison Duke. Those are Lansdale's numbers this season. Transfer from FIU. Lansdale takes outside. Played last weekend against South Carolina. Lately, primarily, she's been a pinch runner for Ole Miss. Started 12 of the first 19 games this season. And really, since the beginning of March, she's been in and out of the lineup. And again, mainly serving as a pinch runner. Way out in front of that. 2-2. Lansdale actually began her career at Georgia Highlands College playing baseball. First woman to play baseball at the JUCO level. And Lansdale with a deep drive, dead center, it's gone! Second of the season, a pinch hit jack, and Ole Miss leads 6-0.
That ball got out of here quick. And off of the Pearl River Resort sign out in center field, pinch hit home run for Ashton Lansdale. Wow, what a pretty swing. Stays inside this ball and just drives it right back up the middle. Again, off of the Pearl River Resort sign and the camera tower in center field.
De Leon sends one the other way. And Shoemaker leaps for the catch. A second time this weekend, Shoemaker's made a leaping grab at the wall.
Angelina De Leon, first pitch swinging, drives this ball out to right center field, thinking Ole Miss has another home run. But Taylor Shoemaker has a different plan.
2 away for the Rebels in the 5th. Energy has picked up in Oxford as Ole Miss looks to salvage a game in this series after losing 2 the last 2 days to the Gators. And Ole Miss enjoying some offensive fireworks of their own after Florida in the top of the 7th yesterday scored 8 runs to eventually win 14-3. Foul to the dugout.
Well, the difference between today and Friday and Saturday is Ole Miss is making adjustments and executing not only when there's runners in scoring position, but
She's held Florida to just 4 hits so far. She's only struck out 1 batter. Florida's made contact today, Missy, but a lot of it bloops, fly balls, ground balls.
yeah, a lot of fly balls, actually. But Brianna Lopez has to be pleased, and Coach Traxel and Nancy Evans, pitching coach, they have to be pleased with what they've seen from Brianna Lopez today. We haven't seen her a whole lot this season, so for her to get the start on a Sunday, she's just doing a tremendous job.
Jocelyn Erickson at the plate leading off for Florida. And is ahead 2-1. Bri Lopez took on a lot of the load inside the circle at the back half of last year. And this year, with the addition of Miley Wachenio, who's been stellar, and also Leah Binford, that's helped this pitching staff and its depth.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, surprisingly pleasant what Ole Miss has gotten from Miley Wachenio, but being a freshman, you never know what to expect. The addition of Aaliyah Binford has helped, because at one point, you know, it was Brianna Lopez.
13 fly out to Taylor Malvin in right field, as Ashton Lansdale takes over for Malvin out in center. Taylor Shoemaker steps up. And Shoemaker with a blast. Left center. Lansdale's back. She can't make the catch. It caroms off the wall. Shoemaker stops at second base with a near home run for Florida.
I think Ashton Lansdale thought that this ball was going to go out, a la the leap for it into the wall in left center field. Shoemaker has her stand-up double.
Shoemaker's 14th double. Fourth most by a freshman in a season in Gator histories. Now Corby Otis steps up. A deficit for Florida in the sixth. Sometimes all they need, though, is one extra base hit to get going. Back up the middle. Pickens with the backhand. Throw, sails high. Otis is heading to second base. Two in scoring position for the Gators in the sixth.
Yeah, a good play by Pickens to rob Otis of a single, but an errant throw. Percy Yamas right on that, but Otis able to take second base on the overthrow.
Jamie Traxel out of the third base dugout. And she's looking up at the in-venue score.
Second base left early. The following plays under review.
They're trying to see if one of the base runners left early.
Is she looking at Shoemaker possibly leaving early from second base?
So what are you looking?
See back-to-back off-speed pitches here for Mia Williams. Maybe 3 in a row?
Two and one to the sophomore, who had just 18 hits last season. She is 50 this year in her sophomore campaign. 3-1. First real sign of struggle, I shouldn't say struggle, but first real sign of heavy traffic on the base pass for Florida, really since the first inning. Blasted into left center. This ball is out of here. Williams has 3 homers this weekend. And the deficit's cut in half for the Gators on their 6th homer in this series.
Well, as I said, you can't relax on Florida. Here, Mia Williams hits this ball off of the scoreboard. As you said, Jake, cutting this lead for Ole Miss in half. Now we have Nancy Evans coming out of the dugout to visit with Brianna Lopez.
That error comes back to haunt Ole Miss. But if you're Nancy Evans here in her first season as Ole Miss's pitching coach, this is just a calming conversation, right? Like, hey, still got the lead.
That's right. Stick to the game plan. Keep hitting your spots. Keep using your changeup effectively. But she got behind against Mia Williams and had to come back in with a pitch across the plate to try and get a strike, and Williams just unloaded.
And Nancy Evans had a stellar career in the circle at Arizona. Won 3 national championships. And this core of assistant coaches that Jamie Traxel brought in the offseason. There was a lot of buzz in the offseason who she brought in to help coach her team this year. Coach Evans being one of them. Now Reagan Walsh steps in, but Florida down 3. Crazy how one swing of the bat can change things for the Gators.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, they scored 8 runs at the top of the 7th yesterday, and they didn't really even need to. They were already winning by 4. One and one. Walsh is 0 for 2. Fly out and a ground out. And she fouls that one off.
An off-speed pitch by Brianna Lopez. Almost a 2-strike swing from Walsh. She reaches out there and tries to hit that. I think it might have been ball 2 if she would have let it go.
Walsh sat on the off speed, and she's thrown out for out number 2. And up comes Kenley Cahalan, who we saw bring the power yesterday too for Florida with a 3-run homer. The Florida offense now, Missy, that's hit over 80 homers after this weekend.
That's just insane. Oh, yesterday we saw a lot of gap-to-gap hitting from Florida.
Lansden, she steps in. 6-3 Ole Miss. Pone had the RBI single in the 4th inning to put Ole Miss on the board first in that 4th inning. And then Aaliyah Binford, who's on deck, hit a grand slam. Ole Miss's 6th run came in the 5th on Ashton Lansdale's solo homer. And then Mia Williams with the 3-run shot in the top half of the 6th inning. Pone with the bloop to right. Down for a hit. Taylor Malvin hustles into 3rd. Back-to-back singles for Ole Miss, and the Rebels continue to cook here in this 6th.
And this is exactly what Ole Miss needed to do today, is keep pounding, keep stringing hits along, pushing runs across. We saw it on Friday. We're seeing it again today. Right now, Ole Miss has the upper hand. Base runners at 1st and 3rd.
Oxley's allowed 2 singles to begin her outing in the 6th, and she rolls it across home plate. Jaden Pone. Somehow that softball got loose. Here comes Malvin. She scores. Jaden Pone tried to create a distraction between 1st and 2nd base. Wasn't how she drew it up, but it worked anyway. 7-3 Ole Miss.
Yeah, it was a good throw from Erickson. Not sure why Holtorf didn't make the catch, but scoots out of her glove, allowing Malvin to score from 3rd base. Put another one up on the board for the Rebels.
Tim Moulton's challenging something for Florida.
Florida is challenging that the runner on first base left early. The following plays under review.
Okay. Another review where we're looking at the runner potentially leaving early. Score stands right now 7-3 Ole Miss, trying to salvage one game in this 3-game series. Florida won Friday 8-7 and 14-3 yesterday. We're looking to see if Pone left early at first base.
I mean, it's a good try for a challenge, but I think that Jaden Pone her foot's still on the bag right here when you see Oxley release.
Great job by our crew in the
Right
control
there,
room.
her foot's still on the bag and the ball's been released, so I think Florida's going to lose this challenge.
After review, the rule on the field is upheld. The runner did not leave early. That's Florida's first challenge.
Florida has one remaining. So everything stands as is. Pone is safe at second base. The run across for Ole Miss. And that brings up Aaliyah Binford, who hit a grand slam in the 4th inning. An exclamation point for the Rebels in that 4th. She may have wanted another one to leave the yard there.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I noticed her last at bat, a couple of her swings, she had pulled her head, and Erin Earlywine at third base made the motion to keep her head on the ball longer, and boy, did she.
So they ruled that last play, Malvin scoring on a fielding error by the shortstop. No outs for Ole Miss in the 6th. Not how Oxley drew up the beginning of her second outing this weekend. That's how she drew that up, though. Strikes out Aaliyah Binford for out number 1.
Well, honestly, it is no fault of her own. Obviously, she gave up the back-to-back singles, but Pone should have been out at second base if Holtorf hangs onto the ball. That's a great pitch right there. Looks like a rise ball up and out of the zone. Binford just can't lay off of it.
Percy Yamas has been quiet today. Was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning and stranded. An aggressive freshman at the plate. 44 hits this year. One of the Ole Miss's top hitters. Freshman hitting cleanup. Don't hear or see of that often.
No, not at all. But Florida and Ole Miss having two talented freshmen, Percy Yamas in the 4-hole for Ole Miss, and Taylor Shoemaker in the 3-hole for Florida.
Now 2-2. As Oxley tries to get Florida off the field unscathed after allowing one run already. On the ground, left side hole, base hit. Jaden Pone hits third, and she'll score without a throw. Percy Yamas with her 39th RBI this year. And it's 8-3 Ole Miss.
Full count swinging here. Percy Yamas takes that ball on the outside part of the plate to the left side for a single, giving Jaden Pone time to score. Great hitting by Percy Yamas.
Star Ferguson comes in to pinch run for Yamas as Lexi Brady steps up. He's reached twice on Florida errors this weekend, but without a hit so far. You see Ferguson, Texas A&M transfer in her first season with Ole Miss. She's run a couple times for Ole Miss this weekend. And Brady skies one on the first pitch to center. Falby battles the sun, makes the catch for out number 2. And Brady falls to 0 for 4 today. And up comes Mackenzie Pickens. I like her walk-up song, Return of the Mac. It's her nickname on the team, Mac.
Yeah.
That song is older than she is, isn't it?
Yeah, so how would she know?
Either that or her parents have great taste in music.
Well, hey, I don't know. My son loves the 80s, and what does that tell you?
Yeah. And his mom has great taste in music.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Mac has a single today. Snap throw to first, and Ferguson's back in time. Kenzie Pickens and Taylor Malvin actually went to the same high school in Georgia, Buford High School. Anytime you try to talk to Mackenzie Pickens about herself, you really don't get much. She doesn't like to talk about herself, which, understandable.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Missy.
What? I'm saying.
Pickens works
Give me a break.
Pickens works the walk. She's just very quiet, to herself, reserved, and then she plays softball, and you get a totally different side to the freshman, who flashes a smile to her fifth-year head coach on first base. And Ashton Lansdale comes up. Solo home run for Lansdale back in the fifth inning. That gave Ole Miss some insurance after a 5-run fourth inning. What's important about this, Missy, is Florida scored 3 runs in the top half of the sixth inning, and Ole Miss has responded with 2.
Absolutely, and if you're Ole Miss, you couldn't let yourself get down after giving up those 3 runs to Florida. You got to keep, like I said earlier, put your foot on the gas pedal and keep pushing down and keep scoring more runs, because this offense for Florida is too potent. You don't want to give them any opportunity to come back.
Erickson to have a chat with her freshman pitcher, Caitlin Oxley.
Well, here she falls behind Lansdale in the count 2-0. You don't want to put another runner on base if you're Florida.
Solo home run for Lansdale. Her second of the season and 14th in her career. Doesn't have the green light on 3-0. Ole Miss back up 5 after 2 runs across this inning. Ball 4. And back-to-back walks for Oxley.
And now you have Angelina De Leon up, who almost hit a home run to follow Lansdale. Shoemaker makes the catch at the fence. You mentioned it earlier in the broadcast that head coach Tim Walton had said that they had gotten down and were able to come back. I think he's looking to see what kind of fight his team has here in the top of the 7th.
This is Kylie Shaw at the plate. Came in for Ava Brown to pinch run. Shaw this season is 0 for 3 at the plate. In her freshman year, big spot here on the road at Ole Miss, down 5. And Bree Lopez looking for the complete game today. It'd be her first in conference play and her first since February 23rd against James Madison in Alabama. One, two's called strike 3. Just the second strikeout for Brianna Lopez today. Both of them looking.
Well, and that's definitely not what you want to see if you're Tim Walton. Ball is low in the zone, but too close to take. You got to try and make contact, at least foul it off.
Sometimes just getting that first base runner is so important in comeback attempts like this. Riley Holtorf takes strike one. Flied out to left, back in the 5th inning. And that hits her. Sometimes if you're a team like Florida, all you need is a slight opening.
Yes, and with the lineup, part of the lineup coming up now, Kendra Falby, Erickson, Shoemaker, Otis, Williams, I mean, that's a tough challenge there.
Kendra Falby at the plate. Florida's best hitters due up. And Falby is down 0-1. Hitting .466. That's just, I don't get it.
Why do after watching her for 3 games?
Unbelievable. Late on that one. She may have been guessing changeup there. Which, how could you not guess changeup with Lopez in the circle?
Yeah, you're going to see a steady diet here. Lopez with the upper hand and 0-2 count on Falby.
Falby's hit the second most hits in a career in Florida history, 314. That's a foul ball. That had some
wicked spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit it off the end of the bat. Just getting enough of that ball to stay alive.
Ole Miss trying to take at least one game from this 3-game series today. Bouncer to short. Ryan Starr. Her throw is wide. Scoots into right field. And Holtorf moves up to third.
Well, that was a really tough play for Ryan Starr, having to charge that ball and then come across her body to try and throw to Pickens at second base. It might have been easier for her to get Falby out at first, but not sure there either with the speed of Falby.
Second error today for Ole Miss, both belonging to the second baseman Pickens and now the shortstop Starr. Jocelyn Erickson steps up. She doubled back in the first inning. And these are just 3 vets inside the circle talking to De Leon and Brady. The only 2 4-year returners for Ole Miss. They built a very close relationship with Brianna Lopez, who's in year 2 at Ole Miss. So Erickson steps up, 1 away for Florida, top of the 7th.
Well, if you're Ole Miss, you really don't need to worry about Holtorf at third base. Okay, you're up by 5 runs. Don't worry about the runner at third base. Try and get outs. If you can, Falby. If not, try and get Erickson out. Get 1 out at a time.
Erickson fixing her elbow guard. Pitch clock resets 2. Chance for the reigning NFCA D1 Player of the Year to keep Florida's hopes alive and get a second sweep in conference play.
Yes, you did.
Three and 2.
Good job by Erickson working the count full.
Erickson, deep fly, right field. Grisham's back. She's out of the room. Florida's still in it.
You just can't let up against this Florida Gator team. Another home run for Erickson on the weekend. Score now 8-6, Ole Miss. Still the heart of the lineup for Florida coming up.
Lopez now 6 earned runs allowed, all in the last 2 innings. 3-run home run for Mia Williams in the 6th, and now a 3-run homer for Jocelyn Erickson here in the 7th. 7 homers belted by Florida this weekend. Taylor Shoemaker at the plate. Doubled and scored back in the 6th.
Yeah, here we see that shift on by Ole Miss. Angelina De Leon over at shortstop, and Ryan Starr almost directly behind second base.
I want to compliment how patient Erickson was at the plate in that last at-bat.
Oh,
Boy,
absolutely.
that was such a veteran at-bat.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And you know, she worked the count full and got a pitch that she liked and jacked it over the right field fence.
No one's there for Ole Miss. Shoemaker's on with the 1-out single. And that brings the tying run to the plate in Corby Otis.
Corby Otis had a single her first at bat, but rounded out her second, or flied out to Pickens at second, her second time up, and then an error by Pickens the third time up. There's no lack for power from Corby Otis.
Remember what she did at Arkansas last weekend. Hit a walk-off grand slam in the 7th to tie the series. She steps up here in the 7th with Florida down 2.
Well, she was 3 for 5 on Friday. 1 for 4 yesterday, but had that big home run.
Chases it in the dirt. Strike 3. A massive second out for Ole Miss.
Yeah, huge strikeout for Brianna Lopez. Pulls the string and gets Otis to swing way out in front.
Still sweaty palms time for Ole Miss fans here in Oxford. Williams takes outside. She had a 3-run homer to put Florida on the board last inning. She's the tying run. Just misses.
Ole Miss fans not liking that at all.
Full count. Payoff pitch coming up.
Shoemaker will be running from first base. You feel the tension in the air?
Ball 4 in this inning continues. The ball game continues. On Brie Lopez's first walk today. And Tim Walton brings in everybody. Walks over to the Florida on deck circle. Ole Miss having a meeting here too. What's this conversation about if you're Coach Walton?
Well, I think he's talking to Walsh about being patient at the plate. You know, you had full counts worked by Erickson. Shoemaker gets a single. You're going to get a steady diet of changeups from Brianna Lopez. It's a matter of, in my opinion, what you want to sit on.
Florida looking to sweep Ole Miss. Rebels trying to salvage one on this Sunday in Oxford. Florida was down 8-3 entering this 7th inning after a 3-run home run by Jocelyn Erickson cut the deficit to now just 2 runs. The tying runs are on first and second for the Gators. Walsh is the leading run. And Walsh airs it out. Shallow right center. Lansdale makes the catch. Ball game in Oxford.
What a fantastic play by Lansdale. Comes in the middle of the game to take Malvin's place, making that ESPN Top 10 diving catch to save the victory for Ole Miss.
Ole Miss's first win over Florida since 2023 and their 13th win all time in the